What is up, everybody? It's your boy Duty back again with another video, and yes, it's that time of the week, folks, where we take a look at the financial data for DSP Gaming and DSP React, and we make sure that the business is solid and Phil has enough liquidity for his day off. That's right, folks. And this week is especially critical, being that Phil has one additional bill to add to the pile, and that is the cat birthday bill. That's right, folks. Oh my lord. And if we understand Phil correctly, that's going to be some additional funds that he has to whip out of his wallet. But of course, we all know with all the birthdays, holidays, Valentine's Day anniversaries, something weird ends up happening where the plans are foiled and Phil ends up going home with Kat and ordering DoorDash and playing Skyrim or Starfield, I guess, this time. So I'm pretty sure that'll happen this time around as well. Anyway, as you guys know, our boy Phil went on BegCon 1 last night on the Daily Rap video, making the whale call, bringing awareness. That's right. The keyword is awareness that support's been slow. Mainly the tips, and I'm here to tell you folks, spoiler alert, that is the case. Oh my lord, our boy Phil had a rough week this week. Although the super chats went up a little bit, the tips just dropped, and he essentially just kind of balanced it out. So okay, as you guys know, the work week started on September 1st and extended all the way through September 6th, and if we take a look at the total tips, Phil pulled in $657. That is compared to $917 from the previous week. Oh my lord, that is bad. And of course, you guys know he did the 15-year Legacy Marathon, which netted him $386. So if you take that out, he basically made as much tips as he did last week. For super chats for that same time period, Phil pulled in $526. So that was a bump. Last week he pulled in $426. So if you take the totals for tips and super chats, Phil pulled in $1,183 for the work week. Now compare that to last week. You can see there was a big dip. So total support for last week was $1,343. So Phil pulled in almost $200 less this week than he pulled in last week. And mainly, if you look at the tips, that tip support dropped almost $300 from last week, and we know that Phil needs that tip money for WWE champions, and he needs it for Jen. He does, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna get his wife a discounted Yankee candle. So Phil definitely needs the money, and it just didn't happen. I mean, we were talking about Phil having to eat ham sandwiches, and then it got so bad that he started having to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I'm here to tell you folks, it's worse than that now. Phil is now having to resort to saltine crackers and water. That's right. The cherry juice, the brand cherry juice, that's out the door, folks. That's out the door. He can't even afford the store brand cherry juice. So it's just going to be water and saltine crackers for this week because tips are just abysmal. As Phil likes to say, the tips are abysmal. And I can see why he went on that BegCon 1 last night. I mean, he was desperate. If you guys caught any of the Street Fighter content, he was pissed. He was upset. He wasn't pissed because he was playing terrible. He was playing Luke, and he was just trash and casual. It wasn't that. It was just support. And if you just imagine if 1 Minute Man, I mean, excuse me, not 1 Minute Man, if OIC didn't come in and drop those 20 members, Phil would have exploded straight up. He would have just exploded. But of course, it doesn't matter to Phil because Phil doesn't see support holistically. He simply looks at every single aspect of support individually. Ad revenue, tips, super chat, and so on. He looks at them separately. And if one is lacking, that's not gonna turn out well for Phil. Mind you, this week was pretty bad. 1 Minute Man actually, or Phil, actually was the leader for 4 streams. So out of the 12 streams Phil did, 4 were the tip leader was 1 Minute Man. You know it's bad when 1 Minute Man is your highest tipper, and I can see why Phil lost it. Pretty much lost it last night, and did that 15-minute rant about support. Yep. So it's getting bad, folks. Expect more of those. I can see him doing a special video, especially if this week, if support is slow or similar to this week. I can see him doing one of these special videos or maybe losing it. I mean, I can see him using his podcast, extending the podcast, and just ranting and raving about support. Very similar to like what he did 2 years ago back in October when he didn't hit the membership goal and he just lost it. He didn't hit the membership goal in August, and he ranted and raved in September, and then in October he needed money for new games and he just lost his shit. It was beautiful. So we may get one of those again, trust me. I don't care that he's trying to look good in front of Moist Critical or Asthma Gold or whoever. I'm sorry, there gets to a point in Phil's business that he's going to realize he's going to have to beg hardcore, and he's just going to go ahead and do it. Okay, folks, so we want to take a look. So we have the numbers too for each month, which I reported out last month. In August, Phil pulled in $3,386. So for the first work week, he pulled in $1,183. So if he keeps this pace up, he'll make more than what he did in August. He'll be in between like August and July. So he may make between $3,500 and $4,000 for super chats and tips. But you know, usually the first week is usually Phil's best week. It is. And don't forget, there is no special marathon event this month. Phil's not doing one. So he doesn't have that. So you guys have to remember that he had that special marathon last month, and that helped boost his support. And even at that, he struggled to make a little over $3,000. So he knows it, and that's the reason why he's kind of in a bit of a panic. So Phil, I suggest you go to Walmart. The Great Value Saltine Cracker brands are chef's kiss. They're delicious. Get those and get yourself some Great Value water bottles, and you can make, you know, several meals out of the week. You can have saltine crackers and water. It's very filling. If you can afford to put a little bit of butter on the cracker, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. Alrighty, folks. So let's compare year over year on how Phil did. So we're going to look at 2023 first. So as you can see for the year so far, Phil pulled in $38,375 in tips. Compare that to last year, he pulled in $45,026. So he is down negative 15% year over year for the same time period. If we take a look at super chats, Phil pulled in this year so far $15,726. And then for the same period in 2022, he pulled in $18,008. Wow, that's a pretty sharp decline there, Phil, for a negative 13%. And then if you add the totals up for 2023, Phil has made $54,101. Again, tips and super chats, just tips and super chats. Compare that to last year, where he made $63,034. He is down negative 14%. Negative 14%, Phil. You got September, most of September, October, November. You have almost 3 months, 3.5 months, Phil, to get that up. And you're running out of time. You're running out of time. Unless you get lucky this holiday season and people feel festive and want to tip you, there's no way you're going to be hitting what you got in 2022. You're actually going to be at a deficit. And yeah, Phil, I mean, that's what happens when you rely on whales to prop up your channel. And you lost many of them. You lost Emil, you lost Game Tracker, you've lost you know, Rob on Wheels. You know, there were about 4 or 5 dents that supported regularly that no longer support. I mean, Jinx is gone. Ever since you doxed him, he left. He was one of your biggest whales at the beginning of this year. And you really only have OIC. That's it. That's all you have. And OIC is a fickle motherfucker. OIC will come and support you just to stick it to the trolls for a month or two, and then he'll disappear for 8 months. So you relying on OIC, you better cast that net out and make sure you get you can cast that net out pretty far, and you can land yourself a whale or two, because you're gonna need it, Phil. You're gonna need it because, I mean, I know you plan, you rely on the hardcore gaming season to occur. I'm not seeing it this year, Phil. Starfield and Armored Core couldn't save the channel. What else is there? Call of Duty? Call of Duty doesn't pay the bills for you. What else is coming out there that you don't want to play Baldur's Gate 3, which is the hottest game out there, and you refuse to play it. So what is it, Phil? Anyway, I envision Phil having to choose between dinner and WWE champions. And of course, he always will choose WWE champions. Ron emojis in the chat. Oh my lord, those saltine crackers are going to be hard to swallow. Make sure you drink plenty of water though, Phil, because those crackers, once they hit the saliva in your throat, they just swell up in your throat. And if you don't have enough water, you can be in some real problems. So just put a little bit of butter on it. Put a little bit of butter or a little bit of margarine, and it'll help you swallow it, man. Have like maybe, I don't know, 10 crackers with some water. That'll fill you up. That's a comparable dinner right there. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Kat, if you're listening, happy birthday. I hope you actually get that dinner out and not actually gas station sushi, as Phil plans to give you this day. So peace out.